Girls, this video is in continuation as we are doing values and data types chapter. We have done till variables initialization. After that, one or two programs have been given that is based on the initialization of variable. We have practiced one program, how to initialize two variables and how to display the sum of the two integer values. Okay, this we can also do for practice. Write a program to assign two integer numbers and one fractional number of your choice you have to assign. Okay, then you have to print the sum of integer numbers and you have to multiply the fractional number, floating point number, by 3 and print the final results. So two integer numbers, suppose integer a comma b, to store two integer values. One to store float value, float f. Now initialize a and b. A equals to 2, b equals to 3, suppose. F fractional, so 2.3 or any number you can take, you can write f also here, okay, as this one is a float value. Okay, now what you have to do, you have to print the sum of integer and you have to multiply this value by 3, then you have to print the result. So sum of two numbers, you have to do a plus b. Okay, now what you have to do, you can print the result directly with the help of SOPLN statement. Okay, a plus b, or you can store the result of a plus b within a variable, suppose sum equals to a plus b. So the addition result of a plus b will be stored in sum with the help of assignment operator. But remember, you are using sum variable. This is third variable you are using to store the sum of a and b, but you have not declared this variable yet. Have you declared? You have declared a, b, f only. Okay, sum you haven't declared. So int, as we are going to store the sum of two integers, so you will be getting integer as a result. After the addition of two integers, we must be getting whole number. Okay, so what will be the type of sum? Int. So before using any variable, you must declare that variable. You haven't declared earlier, so simultaneously we are declaring sum int type equals to a plus b. We are declaring as well as assigning value to sum. Okay, now what we have to do, we have to multiply the value of f by 3. 2.3, this value is within f, so you need not to write the value, you need to write the variable f into 3. Now again f into 3 will be stored within a variable, suppose product, pro. You have to give the data type also, as you haven't declared the pro also. Okay, so declaring a variable and initializing this value to this. Now simply I am writing in short, you will be writing the complete statement, system.out.println. So SOPLN sum is equals to sum, in which variable we are having sum variable. So write down the name of variable without double quotes. If you will put double quotes here, then this will print SUM, not the value of sum. If you have to print the value of sum, then you will be writing that without double quotes. Okay, after the double quotes. Fine. Now what next you have to print? SOPLN product is equal to, in which variable we have product value? PRO. Okay, and this will be within function public static void main string args, and function will be within class sample, suppose I am taking. Okay, so class sample, brace open, function, brace open, two integer variable, one float variable, initialization of integer variables, float variable, then calculation, then displaying the message, displaying the result. Now you will be closing one more brace. This will be of function, this will be of class. So this is the answer of this program. In the book they have given the program in so many pages. Okay, actually they have shown where to create your program, where to write your program, how to execute. Okay, and if there will be any error, then the error will be displayed like this. Okay, so this is basically the demo. Okay, you have done in your practical session, we have done that, so we don't need to do all this. You will be directly executing this program. Okay, this program you will be doing on your computer. Okay, you know how to write, where to write, and how to execute. Fine. Now come to scope of variables or identifiers. The scope of a variable or identifier defined by a block. Block, what is block? Whenever you create a new block means creating a new scope. Okay, scope is related to block, and block is the set of statements, the statements that are enclosed within the curly braces. Okay, so function contains a set of statements, so this one is a block. Okay, this is an example of block, as you are having these statements within these two curly braces. So the scope of variable a and b is within these curly braces, as you have declared these variables within this function. So the scope of, you have declared a, b, f, sum, pro, all you have declared in main function, within the braces of main function. So the scope of these variables will be limited to this function only. A class can have more than one data and more than one function also. So suppose in a program, if there are two functions, you have taken variable a, b and these variables within one function. So you can't use these variables in the second one. Okay, you will be taking separate variables or the personal variables, local variables belonging to that function, but these variables will be having the scope within these curly braces, as these variables you have declared within these curly braces. Okay, so the scope of the variable will be within these curly braces where you have declared the variables. Okay, there are few examples. Group of one or more statements enclosed within curly braces is known as a block. Okay, set of statements, group of statements enclosed within curly braces. Okay, now in this case braces does not have any statement, means null. Okay, having nothing, having no, not a single statement, having null means null. Okay, end of scope, starting brace, curly, beginning brace, ending brace. So this is the starting of a scope and this is the end of a scope. Okay, now beginning brace, end. Okay, beginning and closing of brace. Fine, x and y are declared within these braces. So after this brace, in these braces the scope of x will not be there. X and y declared within these braces. Okay, and within these braces we are using x, we are just using x, but we have declared within these braces, so not possible, as the scope of x and y, as they are declared within these curly braces, so the scope will be limited to these curly braces only. Okay, you can take another variables in the next block of statements, but you can't take the same variable, those who have declared here, you can't use them anywhere else. Okay, now symbolic constant or keyword final. Constant variable, I told you that the value of variable may vary during program execution, and in case of constant, the final keyword is used to convert a variable and its value into constant. Okay, it is also known as symbolic constant. Final is a keyword. Okay, data type and variable name. How to declare a variable? Data type, variable name. But before data type, if you are writing keyword final, you are making that variable as a constant. Okay, you are fixing that value. You can't change, the value will not be changed during program execution. That will be a constant value. How you can make a variable constant? By writing final keyword before data type. Final int a equals to any value you can give. Okay, for example, final float pi, the value of pi will remain same during program execution. In all the cases, the value of pi will be 3.14. Okay, so you can write final float pi equals to 3.14. Okay, the value of variable pi cannot be changed. Now come to type conversion. Java language allows the mixing of different types of constant and variables in an expression. It means in an expression you can use different data types. Expression is a combination of operators and operands, and within an expression you can use different type of data types. Okay, so what happens during evaluation? One operator is evaluated at a time. It also requires that all of its operands be of the same type. If operands of an operator are of different types, they must be converted to the same type. Suppose you are going to add few numbers, if all are of same type, then it is okay. But if the type of data types are different, then what will happen? They must be converted to the same type. And for that, the process of converting one data type to another, type conversion. Okay, as the name suggests, it's related to conversion of type. So the process of converting one data type to another is known as type conversion. Now there are two types of type conversion in Java. One is implicit type conversion, that is also known as coercion, and the second one is explicit. Two types, implicit and explicit. Implicit type conversion performed by the compiler implicitly. Okay, you will not be doing that. The Java compiler automatically performs implicit type conversion, and implicit type conversion is also known as automatic type conversion or coercion. Depending upon the used data types, it is applied when there are more than one different type operands in an expression. Java compiler generally converts all operands on the basis of data type of largest operand. Okay, implicit type conversion, this is performed automatically by the Java compiler in case if you have different type of data types, mixed expressions if you are having. Okay, data types are not same. Different types of data is there in a expression. Then this type of conversion, coercion or implicit type conversion, will be performed by the Java compiler. Okay, the data type should be same. So automatically this will be performed by compiler, and compiler will convert all the operands to the largest operand, largest data type. Suppose one expression is having float, double, integer, different data types one expression is having. Whenever you will be executing that, the compiler will convert the data type of all the operands to the biggest, that is double. Okay, here are the rules. If an operand data type is of double, then the entire expression is promoted to double. If any of the operand is of double type, then the data type of the entire expression will be, the result will be double. If double is not there, data type of operand is float, then the entire expression is promoted to float. And if double and float is not there, if operand's data type is long, so after double, float, float, long, after float, long. If any of them is long type, then the type of expression will be long. And if expression contains byte short int, then the result is always promoted to int type. Okay, suppose there is a mixed expression having byte short and long int. Okay, then not long, byte short and int, then the result will be int, not short and byte. Okay, these are the rules of implicit type conversion. For example, this expression is there, data type have been given, byte b, int a, c, 2 integers, 3 float and 2 double values are there. So 2 double values are there. It means implicit type conversion will be performed by the language compiler and the expressions type will be converted to double, as double is there. Okay, on the basis of these rules you will be getting that. Okay, one int, float, int, you will be getting int, float, you will be getting float, int and float, then you will be getting int, float. But few are int and few are float, then you will be getting float. Fine. Then float and double is also there, na, de. So you will be getting double. So the final data type of the expression will be double. Now explicit type conversion, this is performed by the user. This is user defined type conversion, also known as typecasting. Type conversion, two types are there, explicit and implicit. And explicit type conversion is also known as typecasting or user defined type conversion. Remember. Okay. Now the process of converting an operand to the user defined data type. If you are going to convert the data type of an operand from one type to another, that will be the typecasting. You are casting the type of the variable. And this is the general form how you can perform explicit typecasting. Expression or operand or variable whose type you have to cast. Okay, so I am just writing the general syntax. So variable, it can be expression, it can be an operand, or you can write variable simply. Before that, within bracket you will be giving the target data type. Here you will be writing the target data type. Suppose int a you have, and you have to convert a from integer to char. So you will be writing char here. Char a. This will convert a from integer to char. Okay. Suppose you have int a equals to 65. Okay, then you can write a char. You are converting the value of a from integer to char. You are converting the data type. You are performing typecasting or explicit type conversion. Then you will be storing the, what will be the result? Character. So you will be storing that within a character type variable. Suppose y. Okay, so within this you will be getting a character. Okay. So this is explicit type conversion or type casting. Few examples are given. Following code casts or converts an integer to a char type like this. Int x equals to 66. X means you are converting 66 to character. So you will be getting the corresponding ASCII code. Okay, this is the ASCII code of some character. So you will be getting the corresponding character by this typecasting, that is alphabet B. Okay, what will be the answer of this? If you are going to print the CH, value of CH, you will be getting B, because you have assigned 66 to X. Now 66 the ASCII code of B. Okay, now you are storing the corresponding character, not the ASCII code, not the integer value, okay, within CH. So if you are going to print the value of CH, you will be getting alphabet B on the screen. Fine. So this is the type conversion. One more example is there I would like to discuss. Like you can't store the double value within float. If you will try to store the value of a variable that is of double type and you are storing that within float variable result, suppose you have two double numbers and you are storing the multiplication result of that within float, then there will be an error. Why? The capacity of double is more than float, so you will be losing data. Okay, there is the possibility of loss of precision. So the compile time error will be there, possible loss of precision. Okay, if you are not doing typecasting, proper typecasting, and without doing typecasting you are trying to store the double within float, you will be getting error. Okay.